Salam alaikum, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Level Every Class the World of Warcraft War Within series, episode 10, featuring our femme fatale heroine, Blood Elf Paladin Vlera. Thank you all so much for tuning in once again to episode 10. Top right corner of the screen is going to be a playlist card. Go ahead and click it in case this is your first time tuning into the series and you want to catch everything from the beginning. That'll take you directly to the series playlist. And throughout the video, we're also going to go ahead and showcase some other series, just in case you're interested in checking out any of the other characters we got going on in the Let's Level series. Essential core, just in case this is your first time tuning in. Let's Level is all about leveling every class, different race every time, or at least most of the time. Specific to retail, however, I'm really considering also maybe testing the series in Classic as well at some point, but having a lot of fun in retail, regardless of whether y'all are playing retail, Cataclysm Classic, very soon to be MOP, Classic Anniversary, Era, Season of Discovery, doesn't matter. I sincerely hope all of y'all are having a wonderful time in Azeroth just as much as I am. Last episode, we saw, well, the ending of last episode was pretty interesting because we got to see the before and after effect of what happened to Brill and majority of what happened to Tirisfal Glades. Now, we make our journey into the west, the Western Plaguelands. So why does the Western Plaguelands have so much significance? Outside of coming into this tunnel and the scenery completely getting very grim. Very, very grim. Although I do not remember Fiona as an NPC, so this is definitely a little bit different from Classic. However, oh, you're missing your buddies. Well, that's not very nice of you to lose them, unless they just went off and... Oh, one of us is a Blood Elf too, so we definitely gotta find him. The Dwarf, I don't really care too much for, but the Blood Elf, we need to find him. Definitely need to find him. So we got to see the aftermath of what happened to Tirisfal pretty much from, I want to say, what is it, Battle for Azeroth onward. Brill, Tirisfal Glades, my heart just sinks with how destroyed it is. And a lot of it stems, and old Azeroth and everything, just all of it stems from the Lich King, the Menethil bloodline, and the fall of Lordaeron, and the Western Plaguelands is essentially where it all began. This, I know I've mentioned this before, and I want to say it was episode 6 of this particular series. The Ghostlands is where all of Azeroth was betrayed. The moment the Death Scar was created, the Blood Elf Prince, the young, I want to say it was the young prince, had fallen. This is where everything just went completely out of hand. The Blood Elves were some of the Sindarai were truly the first ones to get to experience the wrath of the Scourge. However, that's not necessarily 100% true. Humans definitely were the first ones to experience it, and specifically the kingdom of Lordaeron. Where did it all start? Started up here in the Western Plaguelands. Good old Lich King. He went completely bat crazy, drunk with power, one would say controlled by the Frostmourne sword and everything, the whole Lich King armor and everything. The Ice Crown sword, or excuse me, the helmet and the helmet of the Lich King and the Lich Kings before. Good old Arthas deciding to take matter into his own hands and completely eradicate, I won't say the G word, but it was basically what he did up in this region. And the city he did it all was Stratholme, aka, in my opinion, one of the best dungeons to play in any version of this game. It's truly crazy to see what happens, and as you can see, we are already going at it. The Scourge have created a tunnel system. The sky is red, a very orange tint red. Just goes to show you just how messed up everything is over here. It's not beautiful as Tirisfal, and it sure as heck isn't as friendly. But we take no prisoners. I'm also liking how my little Zelda sword here is summoning a whelp, a little dragon buddy. Haven't had one of those in a while, so it's pretty cool to see. These spider dudes. Duh. Crypt spider dudes. Absolutely disgusting. Scourge. I mean, we're gonna have to play a Death Knight at some point. That will be coming. I can't not level a Death Knight. It's gonna be my first time, but if you gave me the choice between a Death Knight and a Paladin, I'm always gonna choose Paladin. Like if you said, hey, you got a tank, and you can only tank for the remainder of your time in World of Warcraft, what would it be? It'd be a Paladin. If you put those two choices in front of me. So the upcoming series is quite honestly going to be my very, very first time ever touching a Death Knight. So that'll be interesting to see. I really am curious to see how the differences are and, you know, what you can do on them. Man, these guys really ventured very far into this tunnel, didn't they? What in the world were they trying to accomplish here? There's one way in and there's only one way in and one way out, and it's like there's a complete swarm here, good sirs. What were they trying to accomplish here? I'm all for rescue missions and such, but these guys, they were in way over their heads. And just in case y'all are tuning in and you happen to like the video, go ahead and maybe consider tossing it a like, maybe give it a comment if you find it interesting, and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel. All the support has been greatly, greatly appreciated. Closing in on 50 subscribers at the time of this video. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. But only, however, and I will stress this, or I can't stress it enough, only consider subscribing if you feel like I have earned it. Trying to earn my right to... trying to earn my little place and carve out my little niche in Azeroth and World of Warcraft as it is. It's a very fun game. Been having a wonderful time with it. And I hope y'all are having a wonderful time with this series. Again, the support for the channel and for the content and series has been awesome. I really sincerely appreciate everybody tuning in. Believe it or not, we're closing in on the Blood Elf Paladin's leveling journey. We honestly are very much so closing in. I think it's interesting to see because I'm noticing this level of efficiency. I'm noticing my efficiency with leveling is starting to grow a little bit, but every character's journey and leveling journey is very different from one another. And I think the longer the videos are, like particularly if you're going from, like you can definitely make a series 20 plus episodes if you're only doing maybe, let's say 30-40 minute episodes long. You can make it less than 10 if you're just doing nothing but time walking and whatnot. You can level a character incredibly fast in this game. But I'm trying to showcase best of both worlds. Leveling, storylines, areas, and just trying to maximize, not trying to necessarily maximize productivity, but definitely becoming a little bit more efficient at it. I mean, Vlera's closing in on 70, and after that, you only got 10 levels from there. I mean, that's gonna fly. We definitely need to do some upcoming Burning Crusade time walking, which is coming right around the corner. So what a fitting way that's going to be to kind of top things off. But definitely going back a little bit, Stratholme is really where everything really took a turn for the worst. One could argue it was even a little, the events in Azeroth before that even started to shape what would come. However, I'm just going to go ahead and argue, I mean, Stratholme and definitely the Deaths, definitely the Ghostlands and the Deathscar. You just, those two areas. Death's Step. Hey, it's our buddy. Sunstrike, what are you doing out here, man? This is... If I had to equate the Eastern Plaguelands to anywhere, I'd pretty much equate it to the Forest in Resident Evil 1. Like when the helicopter crashes and they're trying to run to the mansion, that's basically what you got here. You're surrounded. There's very few, well, I'm not too sure. Look, I mean, gosh, look at these abominations, man. Tyrants and necromancers and mages. Oh my goodness. It's time to queue up the Marilyn Manson. Maybe a little bit of Slipknot or Ghost even. Who knows? Just, you can't go wrong in this zone. But yeah, imagine if you're dropped in the middle of this zone. I mean, you're pretty much screwed because you're surrounded. Now, I don't know. In Classic, there was, I want to say, 2 Argent Dawn stronghold posts, and that's pretty much all the territory that they had. Everything else is like a no-go zone, though. Pretty much the entirety of Eastern Plaguelands is a no-go zone. So I'm very curious to see if retail is going to pan out exactly the same in that regard, or did they expand the reach of the Argent Dawn? Now, for those of you that don't know, essentially the Argent Dawn, the best way I can describe him, is a collective group of between both the Horde and the Alliance, multiple different races, all culminating just to fight the Scourge. It's one of the few times in old Azeroth that we can say we teamed up to fight a cause that we knew we had to get rid of. At least to the best of our ability. Because otherwise, the Scourge was just going to continue and continue and continue. Arthas's reach at this point in time was already too much. Not only was he up in the Northrend region, but he also had a huge reach. And a lot of cult following. A lot of cult followers. The dungeon Stratholme is also in here, is in the Western Plaguelands. You have the North Service Gate, and then you have the East. I want to say it was the East Service Gate. So 2 gate entrances, one of which you need a key. So anytime in Classic, you could not get into the East. I want to say it was the Eastern Gate, you needed the key. And anytime you'll refer to Stratholme, at least in Classic, retail I think might be a little bit different, is you have your live side and dead and undead side, or live and dead for short. Most, I would argue, probably did live, because the live side was connected to orb runs, which were great gold farming methods in Classic. So Classic Annie, you'll see a lot of people say, hey, orb run. They're referring to live side, which I'm pretty sure was East Gate. North Service Gate is the undead side, which I would argue has cooler bosses. You do get to fight Balnazar, however, in live side, and you do get to take on more of the Scarlet Crusade, which is really cool. But if you really like the undead and everything, you go Northgate entrance. I personally prefer the undead side, just because you get to fight Baron Rivendare. He was always such a cool fight. You can also go ahead and check all that, because I do have multiple Stratholme runs in the Human Warrior Malachiel's playlist. Her leveling journey did feature multiple live and undead side runs, which might interest you, so go ahead and check that out. And as I also have mentioned before previously, the ambience background music that you're currently hearing, this will be actually one of the final episodes I get to utilize it. Thank y'all for staying patient with me and whatnot, just in case, you know, I found it. I thought it was an interesting idea, interesting concept to kind of add a little bit of ambience, but make sure it doesn't overpower the playthrough at all, doesn't take anything away from it. Just thought it would be really cool, and I kind of liked it. I can't make any promises that it'll return in future videos. I can say it will make a return in one more episode. I'm thinking one more episode, but for a reason. for a legitimate reason. It won't feel out of place or anything. I'm thinking for Vlera's playthrough. But in future characters, I don't know if I'm going to return to the concept. And speaking of which, I do have a poll currently going on, or at least, well, probably by the time this video comes out, the poll's probably already complete. But I'll come back and probably redo it again. But essentially the poll was what type of video content and everything y'all would like to see. The Let's Leveling series is pretty much the focal point of the channel, but I can experiment and whatnot with other things. Kind of turning World of Warcraft into I gotta catch them all instead of like a Pokemon, really like synonymous with like a Pokemon playthrough or like an old Pokemon Let's Play. Y'all know what I'm talking about, like those style of Let's Plays back in the day. But instead of gotta catch them all and just go from generation to generation, we're just leveling every class. Gotta level them all. Oh my goodness. But I came up, so I do have a lot of future concepts for video series down the road, but one of them I'm thinking, because there's 13 classes, right? So there's 13 classes in the game, and the primary aspect of the Let's Level series is we're not going to touch every single spec. We stay true to the spec that we choose from the beginning. Did it with the warrior. She was Fury. Vlera, she's protection. But I'm thinking, why not revisit? Like this is kind of, I guess, in a sense, season 1, and we only have 13 characters. So I looked up the other day. It was like, that'll be interesting. Like how many characters can you have on an account? I believe the number, or at least according to Overlord Google, was 65 on one account. And I was like, wow, you can have 65 characters? That's insane. But doing the math, I was like, wait a minute. We can revisit the Let's Level series. We can revisit the Let's Level series. Like we can do a season 1, then season 2, we do it again, but this time, experiment with a different race for the class. Or if it is the same race, or even if it's not, maybe experiment with a different spec. That way, y'all get to see the class played in multiple different forms and iterations and such. So that might actually be a thing. I don't know. I don't know necessarily how long each series or each character's series is going to be. Because at the same time, I do want to keep at least a few characters as mains. Like Vlera for sure is going to be a main. Like there's no way I can't. Like she is definitely going to be the main. And the reason for that is because Vlera was the name of my first FF11 character and pretty much my primary FF11 character, which I spent years with the gal, and now I'm back with her. So she's got a special place. Malachiel does too. Malachiel absolutely does too, because in future MMOs, when I played 14, I had Vlera, but then I created a secondary character, and that I just came up with Malachiel. So I don't know if y'all do that too. Do you feel like if y'all play multiple MMOs, do you keep the one character's name, or do you try to like come up with lore and everything, and then you make multiple names and such? So I really try to personalize each and every single character I create, because I think it's just, I don't like to create a character and then just have it the same name. Like I do that, don't get me wrong, but I only do that in limited quantities. Like I will not do that every single time. I just feel like being more creative, if I can. I mean, it's at some point I'm going to run out of names. I'm probably going to reuse some, but that's, yeah, so that's kind of where my mind is. I'm very excited for it all, because I'm thinking if I'm getting a little bit more efficient as well with editing and such. So I'm thinking if each character has like hour-long episodes, though that is pretty long, which are divided into chapters, gives you a lot to watch and a lot to listen to in the background or whatnot. But for me as well, it's kind of efficient. What is this? We get a ride? Whoa. Oh, this looks janky as heck, dude. Ah, that's sick. And we get to ride one of these things. How cool. That's pretty cool. Look at that. We see chivalry is not dead. We got an alliance dwarf of all things, and a blood elf paladin that apparently have been like grew up together and they hunt together, and this is pretty cool. There's a lot of character development here that I didn't expect. I thought we were just going on a rescue mission. But here we are. Are you ignoring me? Oh, goodness. Oh, that's cute. When we were kids and fight trolls and murlocs, or the girls. Oh my gosh. Men are very simple creatures. We only desire very few things in life. I think sometimes our sisters out there tend to get that wrong. The Paladin Pals? Dude. It's ironic considering I'm a Paladin myself. Dude, this carriage run is nice. I never thought I'd be able to ride one of these things. So already we're seeing, this is different. I've never seen this in Classic, this quest or these characters, so this is bringing a lot of development. But we're traveling pretty far. Oh, okay. So that's the Argent Dawn. Crown Guard Tower. Okay, so this is one of their strong... Wait a minute. Crown Guard Tower. Where... Oh, I thought they were going to take us to the primary camps. Okay, so this is what I was kind of talking about earlier. So it seems like they gave the Argent Dawn a few different other areas to go by, which is cool. There's a main camp, though, on the far eastern edge, not too far from the eastern, next to the service gate for Liveside.
A coin spent here is a coin for Gilneas.
Lights Hope Chapel. Well, thank you very kindly, Miss Fiona. I do sincerely appreciate it. Gosh, my grandmother used to wear those headbands, like the scarves, like not handkerchief, but like the scarves on the head and everything. Oh my gosh. Believe it or not, that's actually very effective for keeping wind out of your ears and such. And it's comfortable, depending on like the material of scarf. I've had a lot of scarves growing up. You know, your normals, cotton, silk, and everything. Your football club scarves as well. But honestly, an Arabic kefe is easily the most versatile one. Easily. Like, especially during the summer, like if you're out gardening, believe it, like just try it. If you have a Arabic kefe, you almost never go back. It's just that good. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's that good. You gotta try it. Douse it in water and put it over your head on a real hot summer day when you're out gardening. Nothing beats it. Man, look at that. Take one for the gram. So, Eastern Plaguelands. There's our... Okay, so we've got the outposts. I think we're gonna go ahead and fly over. But this guy's got a quest for us, so let's go tackle this little undead troll. For my Final Fantasy XI players, what would be the equivalent of, like... Oh, Hey, level 67, Bismillah. Great job, team. We didn't do anything, but we got a free level. I'll take it. I don't recall trolls, though, in the Plaguelands in Classic. I could be wrong, or I might never have seen them. I don't recall them. So this is interesting. But for my FF11 family, the equivalent of like Western Plaguelands would basically be the equivalent of like Zarkabard, in the sense of this, in terms of the storylines, this is where everything went wrong. This is where everything changed. This is like the no man's land, kind of. I would almost be tempted to sit here and say it'd be like a Wajam Woodlands or any of that, but it's, I mean, as y'all can tell, I mean, look around us, it's not even remotely close to the beauty of Wajam. And there's actually some zones in War Within, the War Within expansion, that I think are better suited to an equivalent. And I'll try to explain those when we get to them. Or when I get to them. Believe me, it should be sooner than expected, because 67, before you know it, 68, and then before you know that, you're on the home stretch. Goodness. I did also pick up, y'all can tell, I went ahead and picked up a very beautiful chest piece, or just a suit here. Reminds me a lot of tier 2, of the Paladins tier 2 without being tier 2. I think this is a Lightforged Draenei set as well, and it looks amazing. Like, it looks stunning. Probably one of my favorite Paladin-esque pieces. Oh, this is a nice screenshot right here. Nice little battle moment. Alrighty, let's go ahead and pop our stuff and get right to it. I normally don't ever pop any of the major abilities. I try to save those and conserve them as much as possible. I notice I don't really use Divine Toll a whole heck of a lot, and that's kind of bad. I probably should be doing it, but I just never feel like I'm in a situation that I absolutely have to use it. I'm really conservative, as I'm sure a lot of y'all can tell. And we're going with the tradition. Cut the troll's head off, bring it to the dawn. Here you go. That's proof enough. Onward and upward. Darrowshire. Wait a minute. Pam? Is she down? She is! Oh my goodness, Pam! Pam! Hi, I'm Pamela. What's your name? Oh, this is, This is a tough one. Y'all notice I stopped for a little bit. So let me explain this. When the Scourge were advancing in the Plaguelands, and believe me, they advanced very quickly. Once Lordaeron was officially sieged, it was just a matter of time. This was a very prosperous village right here, Darrowshire. A battle was fought, and let's just say a lot of lives were lost. Part of those lives, or many of those, was a little girl, a part of a bloodline family of whom we might actually meet as well. Because if memory serves me correctly, her uncle, who actually also did fight in that battle, is alive. And he should be in the main camp, more on the eastern half. Unless it's changed. I'm not 100% sure. So what we do here is we actually end up collecting her little doll. Kind of heart-wrenching. I did this quest in Classic, and it's one of those quests that kind of takes you off your guard, because you don't necessarily expect it to have that much of an impact on you, but the more you read it and read between the fine lines, the more you actually sit here and say, wow, things got really dark. I've never read any of the World of Warcraft novels. I really want to. At some point, that's on my bucket list to try to collect them. But as you can see, like, the villagers, they're still haunted. It's almost like they're stuck in a purgatory that they cannot escape. So we're not only helping free them and free potentially even her family members that were lost, we're picking up remnants of her doll just so she can have something to comfort. It's the one piece, the one item that she can remember. It's the one thing one piece of in the light that it's the one piece of, how do I say this? It's the one piece of light that gives her hope. So if you ever do end up, if y'all do play Classic or Retail, please do this quest and you'll kind of see what I mean. And as a paladin, this is even more irony. This is just one of those moments where you really feel like you're, I don't know, guarding the light, defeating evil, in a sense. You're a paladin. You're supposed to be the beacon of hope. So we get to be a beacon of hope for her, even though everything is already said and done. We can't change. See this? So that's the Scourge's banner right there. The hunting grounds. So it seems like her father was a very prominent hunter. That's his blade in a wolf. Whoa! Whoa. Okay, this is very Dark Souls-esque. Dark Souls 1 specifically. This is new. I definitely don't remember this part in Classic. I could be wrong, but I don't remember this one. So I'm a first responder, and I work with quite a lot of guys who served in combat zones and everything. And one of the guys that I've gotten to get to know over the years, great guy, excellent responder. Honestly, he's more of a he's better at the career than I am in a lot of ways. But he would sometimes, like, we would just shoot the crud and talk about stuff. And he would talk about some of his experience out in the Middle East. Oh, look at that. Yep, we found your little dad's sword. Aw, yep. Okay, so her uncle Redpath is gotta be alive. So we're gonna go see him. And wait till you see his expression when we tell him the news. Let's just say he has a lot of burden that he carries. And going back to what I was saying for a moment, we occasionally talk. Oh, Mr. Redpath, you were here the whole entire time. Okay. Aww. Uncle Carlin was searching for her the entire time, hoping that she was still alive because her body was never found in the Eastern Plaguelands. Just goes to show you your actions as the champion / hero / what in the world is Chromie doing here? Chromie? She preemptively came here to kick me out as soon as I hit 70. Chromie, give me a little bit more time. Oh no, she has a quest. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, y'all. I'm jumping around here a little bit. Oh, she's telling us. Okay, so we're gonna learn a lot more about Darrowshire. Darrowshire? I'm sorry. It rolls off my tongue. I'm trying, y'all. So when I was talking to him, and I don't like to bring up like if you're like a legitimate combat veteran, I'm not trying to bring up anything crazy or whatnot, but on occasion some questions do get asked, and he always said, because I asked him, I was like, I forgot what we were talking. I think we were saying like, if you could live in one country, where would it be? Like, what is your top destination? You want to retire or something, whatever the case may be. And his answer, believe it or not, it was very interesting. He was like, Afghanistan. And I found that so fascinating, because I was like, wait a minute. So as you can see here, the onslaught of Darrowshire was very fast and very rapid. They almost didn't have a chance. And to be fair, they never had a chance to begin with. But yeah, he always said, he was like, it's the most beautiful country I've ever stepped foot on. A lot of stuff out there. He's like, if you get to actually be a part of your, like, if you actually get to take a moment and take a good look at everything around you for what it is and how beautiful it is, he's like, it's a bar none. He said, and when the sun would go down, he would always look at the sky and he would just be like, there's nothing like it. And he traveled quite a bit, but unfortunately his combat experience was out in the Middle East. But I just found it so fascinating to hear that, and kind of refreshing in a lot of ways, because we oftentimes as humans have a way of judging things for good reasons and for bad. I mean, we all have biases, right? You'd be lying if you said you didn't. But it's good to actually be humane about things and see things for more than just what's on the surface. So hopefully y'all found that little short story interesting. I have so many short stories I can say, but it just reminded me, like, the East, I keep saying the West. I don't know why. The Eastern Plaguelands definitely reminds me of that. It just reminds me of the conversations I have with them, and it's just cool to see. He can also speak better Arabic than me. That's actually one of my training partners for learning Arabic. So, another little tidbit there. So this is one of the stronghold areas for the Scourge. We're going to do our best to eliminate the Scourge's resources, get rid of the towers, I'm assuming. We're going to raid each one on the inside, probably LOS the mobs, kind of like how we did in the Ghostlands, and we're going to... I don't know what those little floating tower Hellraiser looking things were in the sky, but I guess we're going to do something about that as well. And that cauldron. So that cauldron has some massive significance to the Scourge. That's actually where a lot of their plague diseases and such that they were able to spread. I forgot who it was. One of the barons in the Naxxramas raid. All he ever did was, utilize cauldrons, but it was just one of those alchemy type of things that just allowed the area to spread. I think we get to see that pan out when we actually get to play the Death Knight, when we get to level the Death Knight. I think we actually take part in the original battle in the here I go again. Eastern Plaguelands. I think it's time for a tea break, y'all. Give me one moment. Good jasmine tea helps soothe the throat, helps get me through A little bit of a long commentary session. Shoutouts to my little dragon wyvern bro here. Dude is putting in work. He's got no fear either. I mean, thinking about it, we don't have any friends out here. It's you, me, and I, little dragon whelp buddy. And our little legendary Zelda sword. By the way, I'm pretty sure the Master Sword was an actual reward in Classic Anniversary. I believe y'all can still get it. I can't. I never actually got it. I really wanted to, but I never completed a little Link storyline. Ooh. Hey there, buddy. Let's go ahead and take care of you. Ah, you're weak. Way weaker than I thought. No problem for a protection paladin. Crash and tumble, Scourge fiend. Oh, whoa. That's one of those little fedora hats. I don't think I've ever collected one of those. In Classic Anniversary, the only fedora hat y'all will see, I primarily will be on, like, I believe warlocks and I don't know mages, but definitely I think it was warlocks that primarily used it. I can't remember its name off the top of my head, but it's like this red fedora hat. Definitely a difference between retail and classic ANI. Like retail, it's all, transmogs are the true end game. Retail, or sorry, swap my words there. Retail is the transmog game. Classic Anniversary, you'll see a lot of different people wearing a lot of like weird things. But if you look at the gear stats and everything, they're really trying to maximize their potential. And some of it looks pretty good, I'll admit. Others look incredibly horrible. Like you'll see a paladin running around with pieces of leather gear. Or like cloth or leather, and not like the good-looking kind. You'll see them like just maxed out in a funky-looking way, and it's like, oh, that looks so bad. Like you'll see the Judgment Helm, and then like some tabard, but then the legs look like they're scale mail, like they're mail gear. Oh gosh, you just have to see it, and you're just like, why? Just why? You'll also see in Classic a lot of the that's pretty cool to see in the distance. Like how the light of hope burns bright. That's very nice, and it's a nice little beacon, so you can always find your way home, I guess. Chromie? Ma'am, here is your skulls. Chromie's mirror as a shield? We might have to test that one out. If the stats are good enough. I'm very curious to see how that shield is. Heroes of Darrowshire.
Take care of yourself out there.
I like how she does her little bow animation too. Pretty cute. Not a fan of gnomes, but you gotta give Chromie a pass. The other one I'll give a pass to is Miss Researcher from Ungoro Crater, because I have such very fond memories in the crater, and that she was a very prominent, like just memorable NPC. Always had fun in the crater. What do you mean you're not heading? Come on. If you want something done right, you gotta do it yourself, apparently. The bros just buffed themselves up. Hey, Mr. Redpath, you willing to come to the chapel? Ah, darn it. I wonder if like Chromie is one of the most like badass gnomes in this game. Like, is she this game's version of Shantoto? Like, she's secretly just a mini boss in disguise. You know what I mean? Like, she is just like the true
Spread the good word, eh?
end game. Like, she is the almighty. You know, I don't know. I'm coming up with stuff here. Not to mess with you, Chromie. Got nothing but love for you.
It's like meeting again for the first time. It's been a pleasure.
So the Eastern Plaguelands was... Hello, Mr. Gargoyle Bro. We found a rare. How about that? Let's go ahead and take him out. Should give us a level as well, so why not? He's not the one that I remember though. There's another gargoyle that flies around a lot more. And I think he's red in color, so this one's new to me. 68, Bismillah, great job team. Look, I'm telling you, 2 levels away from 70. I mean, we're just... Gosh, it seems like yesterday I started Vlera. Here we are. So there is definitely... Yeah, I think there is another rare, if I recall correctly. Hey there, buddy. You Mastiff Bulldog. I hate to do this to you because I really love dogs. Not a huge fan of Mastiffs, but I love dogs. So, right, we got the shield. What's up here? Seems... Oh, yeah, I probably should check my polos before entering a room so blindly, especially in the Plaguelands, because you just don't know. You never know. There also is another... Actually, there's quite a few rares in this zone. There's a big grub worm, like massive, that usually I think is in one of the ditches. It's a big ditch. You can't miss him. I forgot what his name was. We hunted him when my guild was still active. We did hunt him. I don't know if he has anything of like note. Definitely not for like a mage. I mean, not for me at least. Ooh, sweet tea. No thank you though. Sweet tea is very... How do I say this? I'm not a southerner. I'm a Yankee. But I live in the South currently. Currently stationed in the South, I guess you can say. And sweet tea, you can only drink that in so many... You can only drink that in so many iterations. So many rounds or volleys. That stuff is... Ooh, is it sugary? Ooh, Chromie's shield looks awesome. I think we're gonna keep that on. Chromie, you got some gear here? Like, are you into transmogs? Is Chromie the true endgame? Alright, looks like we are taking place. Yep. Joseph Carlin's troops defend. So before Darrowshire, gosh, help me pronounce that properly, y'all. Before it was completely eradicated and pretty much burned to the ground, this is one of the last defenses, one of the last hurrahs that this little town had. before everything just went completely asunder. And undoubtedly, the inevitable pillaging and everything else that came with it. I don't know what Scourge do, and I don't want to think too far into what the Scourge do when they take prisoners or lived ones. I'd rather not. But you gotta give... Oh, whoa! Mr. Redpath? The king himself swinging the mace. They shall not pass. And as you can see, he's only... Let's see... Squad of 5. 1, 2, 3... Yep, 5. You got another... 4... Nope, 5 over here. Now we have 11. So it looks like we're getting more troops, but I mean, you can, again, counting the numbers in comparison to what the Scourge were able to produce all at one time. I agree. The light must prevail, and we must do everything we can. The citizens of Darrowshire had one way in and truthfully one way out. That cobblestone path is all they had. That's all they had. No doubt they had to evacuate everybody as much as they could, but it's also possible that the Scourge completely surrounded any of the evacuation paths. Captain Redpath has appeared on the battlefield. Protect them. So as you can see, our numbers are starting to get a little smaller. Everyone here deserves a Medal of Honor. Posthumously, because none of them survived. Maybe excluding a few. Even the Forsaken were here, though I don't think these are... Forsaken. I think these were Scourge Forsaken at the time. Prior to Sylvanas' rebellion. You gotta imagine, you can just imagine how little hope they had. Endless wave, like wave after wave, non-stop. Adrenaline, your adrenaline rush, your adrenaline cooldown, once that takes effect, you start to really get, you're fatigued, and you just keep trying to go. And the battles could have taken place at night, in the morning, anytime. They had to be on their guard so heavily. Really puts things into perspective. The Redpath was resurrected to fight on the Scourge. I wonder who was responsible for that. Doesn't seem like the Lich King was here to assist with that, so I wonder if it was one of the necromancers that quickly took him. But you gotta think how devastating that was for him too. To be human and then in the midst of the battlefield. You're turned against everybody. I bet you anything that is when it all went, the Darrowshire was completely eradicated. And it looks like we get to return him to his little home on the hill. Hey, Pam. Aw, I hope you like lots of sugar. Pam, you're such a cute little tiger. Gosh, what it would have been like And I'm pretty sure this is before paladins really started to become accepted into the Alliance. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is when they like, I don't know if was the Lightbringer like established by this point, or no, it was still too early. Spirit of a little girl, never able to find, well, we gave her a little bit of peace, and that's cool. Bring a hero's welcome. Ah, it's just crazy seeing Mr. Redpath like this. He knows what he did, and he had no control over it. They're saved. Well, if but for a fleeting moment. Batal fi al-Hayya. A hero in life. And one definitely to remember. It's a very short story. I remember it being a little... I remember it being different in Classic Annie, and I don't remember it being as long as what we just did. Again, anybody please correct me if I'm wrong. But that's one of those quests that is just... do it. If you can, definitely do it. Because it's so worth it just to see the tumultuous amount that the people in this region had to deal with. They were pretty much by themselves. Stormwind could only send so many reinforcements, and they still had to protect Stormwind. Once Lordaeron fell, tides really turned. And for the worst, for a set amount of time, till it was finally contained. So I didn't notice that night elf gal. I didn't notice her before, but we got a questline to do here, and I've got some items. So it looks like we're going in the towers after all. Oh, whoa, what is this? A little ghost? Are they with us or against us? I don't remember having help earlier. The light must prevail. So, wait a minute. Is that connected to finishing that little quest line? You actually, I mean, this NPC's not helping me at all, but it looks like they're, and that could have been because I also flew down, but I wonder if they're designed to actually help you. How cool is that? It's a little bit of extra lore and a little bit of extra reward for helping out the people. How cool. You know, it's kind of funny. Oh, crouch sliding there a little bit. That's funny. That's happened to me a few times off screen. It's kind of funny because a few episodes prior, I knew there would be a fork in the road to where we get to choose between Silver Pine Forest, venturing in there, or venturing into the Plaguelands. And I was skeptical about going to the Plaguelands because I remembered from a classic perspective where it's pretty much the final main area where you do your little bit of leveling. Every player is different, but for the most part, I think a lot of us choose the Plaguelands, or at least we end up going to the Plaguelands. Honestly, if it was my choice, I would have done my final few levels in Ungoro. But getting to come here and actually revisit it in retail is super cool and very satisfying. I'm really impressed. The intro quest was a little, with our, from saving our little adventuring duo, to getting to see what happened to one of the last remaining human establishments in the region before it was completely totaled. And getting to experience that moment with the Redpath family, getting to put a daughter at ease and, you know, play with her and get to give her some inner peace and everything. It's that inner it's that type of questing and that type of storytelling that creates an inner monologue, or at least for me, an inner dialogue. It just goes to show you why this game is truly amazing in a lot of ways. Taking a moment away from just dungeons and such, because I remember we were doing Strath on Malachial a lot. You know, we definitely did Strath quite a few times, but we never ventured into the Plaguelands, and now getting to see it. See, look at that. Even it's that level of little detail. Captain Redpath, how could you forsake us? Referring to what we know, what we now know. He was resurrected and turned against his own family, his own people, against his will. Imagine for all the troops that were in that moment and fought alongside him, probably even grew up with him as kids, and getting to see that your best friend turns against you. It's almost a level of storytelling. I mean, it is a video game at the end of the day. But for many, it's a lot more than that. I'd argue this is storytelling close to Berserk in a video game sense. We all know what happens to Guts at the end of the Golden Age arc. We all know what happens. It's that level of writing and everything that's just so fantastic and phenomenal. I know, and it kind of saddens me now, because I know I'm not going to be able to complete everything in the Plaguelands. I'm not going to be able to showcase everything in its full glory and such. But like I said, it's just one of those things. I was definitely skeptical coming here because I was dreading it, but I'm really happy that I did. I'm really, really happy that I did. I got to experience a way different, way more in-depth, story-driven perspective. And as a paladin, it just fits the vibe. It fits the lore. I'm really happy I got to experience this. Now, how do you take down these things? These plague decimators. Am I doing something wrong? I have to be. I have to be. What am I doing? Oh, wait a minute. Okay. So what do I do here? You know, I'm right here. Here's the decimator. I'm pretty sure this is the item I'm supposed to use, but can I not? Let's not fall in the cauldron. Oh, okay. Eat that, Scourge. Get rid of your little nasty tool and creations. Oh man, so we gotta kind of chase every one of these down, get within range, and utilize. Yeah, this is gonna happen. This may take us a small minute. Not a problem, but definitely gonna take us a minute. Alright, back to it. Got a few more we need to take out, and they're kind of spreading out a little few and far between. Can I get... If I get a... Yes. If I get on this mushroom... Oh, requires a crystal? Dang. Okay, so we have to take out those, we have to take out these guys. Get another crystal. Okay, so it's a one-time use. Didn't know that. I mean, look at that. Uncivilized barbarians. Can only imagine what they're doing with that kind of stuff on that table. And next to some prison cells, I mean, take the hint of what that is on that table. Even as a Forsaken player, true to form Horde player, Horde every day, all day, all that jazz. We don't do that kind of stuff. I mean, we do in a more OSHA standard sense, I guess. OSHA compliant. Kind of sucks that we do have. Kind of sucks that we had to farm each of these crystals individually, but it's okay. We only got a few more. A few more birds in the sky to take out. With anything, we might actually hit our next level too, so that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be a good way to kind of cap off the episode. Oh, he didn't drop anything. Son of a gun. Dang it. There's two of you. Okay, one of you is going to drop something. I know I've said shoutouts to my little dragon whelp buddies here, but also shoutouts to my cat friend who's been graciously allowing us to traverse on him this entire playthrough. Swapped over from the chocobo to the cat, mainly because I just wanted to get around a little bit faster. And the chocobo, as funny as the little roadrunners are, they got a special place in my heart. Pretty sure there's a rare one too. I think he was like an emerald green, if I remember correctly. I never had him, but I knew he existed. There we go, team 3 of 3. Let's go hand this quest in. I think that's probably going to be enough to cap it off for this episode. Unless she has a follow-up for us to do. Kind of interesting as a blood elf to be as a blood elf to be helping support a night elf. Postponing the inevitable. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. Alright, no follow-up quests. I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this episode, y'all. Nice little view there, I guess. Sorry, I had to. Y'all, thank you so much for your support. Shukran to everybody here. Again, y'all's support for the channel has been amazing. Next episode, we're going to go ahead and take out the ambience. I'm thinking we hit up some delves. I think delves are going to be a pretty fun little breath of fresh air, but that's essentially, I think, all we can really do in the Plaguelands before I get kicked out for Chromie time. We're super, super close to that, so I don't really want to go too far ahead and then not be able to continue really much any further for a little benefit, at least to the sense of leveling wise. But I really sincerely appreciate everybody here. Again, support for the channel has been awesome. I really appreciate all y'all's time. Do consider subscribing if you felt like I have earned it. Next episode, I'm thinking we're going to hit up some War Within content, some delves, showcase a little bit of that, maybe even a dungeon or two, because by that point, we're definitely going to be in the 70s. Take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. I'll catch y'all in episode 11. Take care, everybody.